I think we're gonna move those items until the end, like for special events. And now we're gonna go on item 9, Citizens Forum. Citizens Forum, it's open. Anyone wish to speak on either side, on any item on the agenda?
You ready?
Any item concerning the city?
I'm going to address item 9, I think, on the agenda.
You have.
My name is Judge Karen Mills Francis. My address is protected by statute. And you know, I want to say something. This happened the last time I came to a city meeting. It's almost 9 o'clock. The only captive audience here tonight were us, the taxpayers and the residents, because when all the pomp and circumstance ended for everybody else, they went home. And so we have to wait to the end. If I got up at 7 o'clock this morning and I got children off to school and I went to work and I came home and I cooked and I helped with homework, I shouldn't be sitting here listening to somebody talk about some disease that has nothing to do with me. I'm very upset about it.
No, you got.
I feel that as a resident. Please don't interrupt me. I didn't interrupt your processes.
Judge Karen.
I have run courtrooms just like you have. What?
You have 2 minutes.
I'm going to say it all in 2 minutes. I've run courtrooms.
You have nothing to do with it, but you know other residents.
I have 2 minutes.
No, I'm going to let you speak.
Okay, then give me my 2 minutes.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I've run a courtroom too, and a decorum, and I always respected people's time, that they have to take off from work to come to court. And I feel the same way. I had so many people here who left tonight. Stanley and Barbara Hunter, who live on Griffin Boulevard and 129th Street. Louis and Maritza, who live on 131st and Northeast 4th Avenue. Alex Sotelo, who lives on Griffin Boulevard and 129th Street. Brenda and Al, who used to own the Griffin Florist on Northeast 3rd Avenue and 125th Street. They live on Griffin and 125th Street. They were here. Ed Wackness was here. Susan Umminger was here. These are people who said they're elderly, they're sick, they have children to get home to. Well, gosh, what time is it going to happen? So we've lost them. The reason I am here is to talk about item 9, which is the forensic audit. I am asking you as a council to order a forensic audit. Yes, I know under the charter you're supposed to have an audit every year. That's a standard audit. A forensic audit is a much deeper audit. It looks for criminality. We have a mayor that was federally indicted for stealing $8 million. We have a city that Channel 7, Channel 6, the Miami Herald, and everybody else says it's a totally corrupt city. I think that if you want to alleviate the fear, if you want to really create transparency, I heard the rabbi say, we want to talk about all this positive in North Miami. We can't just gloss over that we have a great new city manager here and a great new chief of police to say, oh, everything's okay. I think we need it. If you go to the FBI's website, public corruption is now the FBI's top priority among its criminal investigations. I say let's spend the money. We find the money to pay off fines and everything else. Let's find the money for a forensic audit. And I think we should pick 2 departments, finance and public utilities. Thank you.
Well, good evening. Joe Salostin, 13500 Northeast 3rd Court. I wanted to talk a little bit about Biskin lending, but I am compelled to speak a little bit about what George Francis just said earlier. Ladies and gentlemen, North Miami, the city that I love, is not a corrupt city. Councilman Galvin, you are not a corrupted person. You're not a corrupt man. Councilwoman Keys, I know you very well. You're an attorney. You are not a corrupt person. Councilman Bien-Aimé, I know you well enough. I know you're not a corrupt person. Councilwoman Stell, I've worked with you for 10 years. I know you're not a corrupt person. I know most of the members here, including the city attorney, the city manager, the director of finance. I am hurt as the former mayor of the city of North Miami for what I have been watching on television. Yes, it's been very ugly. People are calling me all over the town asking me, what's going on with your city? It is my city because I serve here as mayor for 2 terms. The opportunity to serve as the city of North Miami mayor was the greatest honor I've ever had in my life. And today, for people to perceive North Miami as a corrupt city because former Mayor Tondreau was indicted on issue unrelated to city business. It was very clear that her indictment was for private businesses during the year of 2005 to 2008. Nothing to do with her tenure as mayor. So if someone would like to speak about corruption, the idea of linking the former Mayor Tondreau to say that, yes, it's needed because of corruption of the mayor being indicted, I am offended by that because the city that I love, the city that I served as mayor, is not a corrupt city. North Miami is a vibrant, wonderful city, and there's no corruption in the city. If there is corruption in the city, we have not had the state attorney's office or nor the federal government to arrest it or indicted any of our city employees or workers in relationship to anything dealing with city business. So I am somehow offended by sending out that image out there that this is a corrupt city. We all live in the city. This is our city. If there is money missing, no elected official here handles money. None of you. No, Councilman Galvin, you do not sign checks and you don't handle money. The only time money is touched here is under the direction of 3 council members who are running this council. I read Councilman Galvin, listen, this is a former mayor speaking, okay?
Excuse me. 30 seconds,
okay.
Mr. Celestine.
Mr. Mayor.
You always can come back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. I will come back to speak about Biscayne Landing.
Thank
you, Mr. Mayor.
Yes,
my name is Terry Dellerson, Bayview Lane. I've been a resident of North Miami for almost 35 years. And for the first time in a long time, I'm optimistic about the direction that I see the council and acting mayor want to head. But I also realize that the city is in financial trouble. And in order to prevent that from happening in the future, I believe you have to look to the past to see what caused us to get in that position. And unlike former Mayor Celestine, a city is not corrupt. People are corrupt. So that's why we have to look into this and see what caused it so we don't repeat it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Dr. Smith Joseph. I'm at 2100 Sans Souci Boulevard, and my address is not protected. I did not intend to speak tonight. As a matter of fact, I've been coming to meetings here for years, and this is my first time coming to the mic. And back in the 18th century, there was a very wise man who came in. He was from Great Britain to help the Americans get away from the oppression of the British. And he was a Britishman. And he started a pamphlet. The theme of the pamphlet was common sense. So common sense is what we need tonight. Before we start pointing fingers at people, out of all people, Mrs. Judge, I'm sorry. You cannot convict someone just because she is accused. This is the United States of America, for God's sake. I am appalled by this statement, and I think we deserve an apology here. Mayor Tonjo was not arrested because of what has to do with the city's business. And that should not be repeated here tonight. This is an insult to me, an insult to the citizens of North Miami, and to the council. The council member worked very hard to be here every 2 weeks to work for the business of the city of North Miami. And for us to be coming here and condemn someone just because he or she is accused, it is totally uncalled for. Yes, we do need an audit. And I do an audit in my business every year. There is nothing wrong with that. That's to make sure we have a new manager coming in, and we have one new councilman, and we have an election coming up. So what they ask for an audit. But let's just do it in a civilized way. We don't have to be casting stones, especially when some of us may be living in a glass house. We are not pure, we are not saints. We all have some kind of bones in our closet. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
My name is Bruce Gibson. I live at 12640 North Bayshore Drive, North Miami. Despite what Mr. Celestine just said, most of us know the reality that the city of North Miami is no stranger to political scandal, questionable financial practices, and shenanigans of the highest order. While I only have a couple of minutes at this podium, we could all spend days discussing stories of mayoral privilege, fake police badges, cronyism, no-bid contracts, wrongful terminations, racism, bribery, and I've probably forgotten a number of other misdeeds on the part of various city officials. And this is not to point fingers at anybody here necessarily, but we all need to recognize the fact that in this city there have been a number of problems over the years through various administrations, various individuals, various departments. It's not just one person that's bad. It's not everybody that's bad. There have been a few bad apples over the years, and it has hurt the city. So its history, in a word, is shameful. This city really needs to come together and shake free from its troubled past and move into an age of not only transparent and responsible government. I know we hear those words a lot, but the city officials need to put their needs behind those of its citizens and to take what is truly a leadership role. For too many years, this city has squandered opportunity after opportunity, wasting taxpayer dollars while enriching a few politicians, attorneys, and consultants. This has to end, and it has to end now. Voting for a state audit is one of just many steps needed to do just that, to set a new course for the city that embraces transparency, not just in word, but in action. A vote tonight against an audit will only show the public once again that the city is not to be trusted. So please, do the right thing for the city and its residents and vote for a forensic audit.
Esther Blinn, 1990 Northeast 118th Road. I'm here to, I don't know at what point in time, but I think I'm at the right point in time in Citizens Forum. I'm here on behalf of the San Souci Homeowners Association to advise that we took a vote on this issue and that we unanimously voted on the idea of having an audit of the city finances. Exactly what I just said in one sentence is the position of the San Souci Homeowners Association. The nuts and bolts of it and the discussion about it is for the mayor and council to determine. I say that, and that's the end of that statement on that subject. On another subject, as a citizen of this city and a resident, I have to say that when one individual or individuals make a public records request for documents about various issues, a first request for public record, a second request for public record, and now coming up a third request for public record, and there is silence on the issue of public records, I have a concern. And I am very concerned. There is documented over 1 year a public records request that has been sitting unanswered for over a year. Now, recently, I made a public records request on behalf of someone. It's unanswered. Silence in the public record sphere is not good government.
Thank you very much.
Hello, I'm Melton Goodwin. I live at 310 Northeast 126th Street, and I will keep this quick because, like Judge Karen said, I am one of the ones that has a family with a child who I brought here tonight, and I do find it quite appalling that I'm standing here at 9 o'clock bringing this up. So I will keep it quick. I do support that we need to have this audit. I think that if there is nothing, these people are worried about fingers being pointed. If you've done nothing wrong, if there's nothing to uncover, then that'll come out. Why are you scared of the audit? Vote for it.
Yes.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Maïko Melfontus, and I am on 1630 Northwest 120th Street. Okay, this is my second day coming to the meeting. The very first one, which was the last month, I was really shocked about the topic that was discussing, and today, okay, as I came back from school and I stepped in and I see few people's being rewarded. But my concern, it is, okay, I used to live in Broward for around 12 years. And then came back, before I moved to Broward, I was in North Miami, the same place. And I came back. And I've been using a park near the house, my brother's. And what I've been observing, the climate, the atmosphere, it needs to be clean. According to Abraham Maslow, we need basic needs to survive. Water, air, we need that. We need homeostasis. We need to put in, we need to remove. The last one on the basic needs is waste. Okay, so we have to use priority. We have to need to use priority. The priority is air. The air is polluted. The park need to be clean. Because, if we have flowers, plants, and then, what I've been observing, it's banana tree. Okay, the banana tree. This morning, especially, when I was going, please do not interrupt me. Let me talk because truth hurt. It is based on my observation. When I saw, two cops there, I thought, I had a different perception. The fact that I used my routine, I didn't have any problem, but I was thinking about safety. I thank you, the team of officers in North Miami. And okay, so garbage need to be removed. The park needs to be clean. So in order for us to breathe, yesterday morning. So we had dioxide, carbon dioxide, we cannot breathe because it was smoke all around. We need to breathe in order to avoid going to doctors and giving us medication, treat one thing, and then, give, the negative side effect of the medication. We need to use natural air.
Okay,
We need
hello?
to take care
Ma'am.
of ourselves. Excuse me.
No, you
second,
can always come back.
My second
You can
one.
always come back, okay?
Excuse me. My second one is, a ticket that I received
Okay.
from the city.
Ma'am, you can always come back, okay? You have 2 minutes, and after that you can come back, okay?
Thank you for not letting me talk. Because I'm bringing out the truth.
Thank you.
China Lucian, 12880 Griffin Boulevard. I want to talk about the forensic audit. As a city, this audit is imperative. First and foremost, start the process of instilling confidence amongst our constituents that our city leaders are working towards uncorrupted management. Secondly, to once and for all convey that the city of North Miami will not stand for lack of transparency and corruption any longer. If we have nothing to hide, then bring it on. If we do have something to hide, then let's get it out on the table and then put it behind us. This is all about transparency and healing. Considering our city's questionable history, I would think the council would find this necessary. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Council and staff. Annie Montgomery, 2082 Northeast 124th Street. I want to publicly thank our mayor for the way he conducted the last council meeting. He handled it, he gave respect not only to the residents, but also to his council sitting alongside of him. It was very refreshing, and I thank you. The forensic audit is on tab G, I believe, and anybody that wishes to speak on that, I can speak at that time, correct?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
On every item. Yes, sir.
Thank you. My name is William Welsh. I'm here for the San Souci Volunteer Homeowners Association, representing approximately 230 homes. And we're very much in favor of the forensic audit. I don't believe anybody on the council would ever do anything wrong. I know two of the council members, and they're very honest people. I'm afraid I don't know the other two. But it's imperative that the city clear the air, clear everything. If there's no misdeeds in the city hall and their finances, their dealings, then this will prove it. It's not something that anybody's accusing anybody of doing anything wrong, but it's been very many years, if ever, a forensic audit has been done to find out if there is a problem anywhere. It's with a new city manager, with new people in place. I would think that they would enjoy having a forensic audit to say nothing's wrong, I'm dealing with a perfect, wonderful city. I'm a new resident to North Miami. I've only been here for a little over 2.5 years. I read in the paper about all these different things. For instance, just recently, I read in the paper that there was a white Porsche Americana or whatever it is, four-door Porsche, parked in the mayor's spot, and the person that had lent it, gave it, or whatever, received a few $100,000 in fines and liens that were wiped off the books. Just that one story alone should make the council want to look into all of this. My understanding, if that was done, that is criminal. I don't know. I don't know anything about what goes on. But I think the council, for their own appearance, would welcome a forensic audit. Thank you.
My name is Enoch Millian, 12620 Northeast 4th Avenue, North Miami. Yes, we need an audit, but let's have one for the last 8 years. I would like to know what happened with Bell House. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Halcio Pires, and I live on Northeast 122nd Street. I came here because I'm concerned about a project that I saw the city has, and that is the fishing pier and the fishing and the viewing pier of the North Shore Park. And my concerns are that I live on 122nd Street, and that park is right at the end of the street. Before Hurricane Wilma, I think it was, or Katrina, I can't remember exactly, we had a pier, a wooden pier there, and it was taken down by the hurricane. When we had the wooden pier there, we also had a lot of people, and I know because I used to walk my dog there, smoking weed, injecting drugs, doing, other things, what could I call, fornication, to not use another F word. And so this was going on during the day and at night. There was no policing. I called the police several times, and they never came. Never came. And I was not several times, it's 1, 2, no. It's, over 5 or 6 times. Anyway, what my concern is that now this project that the city has of making a new pier with LED lighting, LED lighting, submerged lighting, upgraded amenities, improved security, built using sustainable practices, low maintenance, and a high quality. So basically the way I see this is you're giving a nice environment for these people to use that again for those purposes. Why not leave the pier the way it is, where today you have birds nesting and roosting, you have fish, you can see the fish spawning and the fry among the mangroves. And so why not let that park be a dog and a natural, wildlife, mini wildlife reserve? Because, you're not only will making the pier not, disturb all this, but also, thinking on the people of North Miami, since the city is in financial problems, why build this now? Right. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
My name is Charles, 520 Northwest 130th Street. Councilman's Court Government, I know you called for that audit. Let's have one 15 years from now. Let's have one 15 years from now. And I would like to know what's wrong, what happened with Bell House. Thank you.
Good evening. Susan Blumen, 1865 Northeast 117th Road. I am here as a private citizen. I have lived in the city of North Miami for 22 and a half years. And I'm also here as Vice President for Sans Souci Gated Voluntary Homeowners Association. As Esther said, we did vote unanimously as a council, and we represent 230 homes, and we speak with our neighbors that we would really like to see a forensic audit. For the past several years, there has been about a bit of smoke about kind of clouding certain issues. There are employees who are no longer here. I've heard twitterings coming from different employees, some not employed anymore, some still employed, about things going on that they couldn't speak about. And where there's smoke, there's fire. But as Pink says, just because there's a flame doesn't mean you got to get burned. We got to try. So I think what the city, I would love to see the city do, and the council, is to try and get rid of the smoke, try and find out if anybody got burned. It's time to do this. It's time, I think, for the citizens of North Miami. It's time for the city. It's time to clear the air. I have a friend who lives in Perth, Australia, and believe it or not, the Australians know about things going on in the city of North Miami. I mean, really, it's like, 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm getting an email from this man saying, so, what's going on in North Miami again? You guys are having a lot of fun. Well, let's have a lot of fun, but let's also get rid of the smoke and find out what's going on. We deserve a forensic audit. Thank you.
Hi, Alita Rosenfeld, Keystone Point. So I'm here like so many other people you've heard, and they've all spoken very eloquently in favor of having a forensic audit. I think that all of you can very clearly maintain your innocence by voting for an audit, thereby saying, we are not guilty of anything. We want to preempt anybody thinking that we are guilty of behaviors. We're going to check and double check what has been done by perhaps predecessors and not repeat any mistakes, not admitting that there is guilty behavior or problems that you all have been, how shall we say it? You have not admitted guilt by asking for an audit. Instead, you're saying, we are innocent. We want to show you how innocent we are. Therefore, we're going to vote for this, and you'll see that we are doing our best to clear the good name of North Miami. A vote against this, I'm not saying that you're guilty, but you will certainly look very guilty if you do not vote to clear the city of North Miami by voting for an audit. Each and every one of you has to vote for this in order to clear your name. Voting against it, unfortunately, you will give the appearance of guilt, and the city doesn't need any more of that. Everyone else has stated that very eloquently, so there's only one thing I'd like to add, and that is do this quickly so you can get beyond it. I don't know how fast the audit can be done, but as soon as possible, call for it, get it done and over, and move on to the next.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Holly Cohen. I live in Keystone Point. I am asking you all to do a forensic audit, not in order to prove that you're not guilty. It has nothing to do with guilt. It has nothing to do with anything that any one of you have done. Basically, it's so that you can move forward, so that you can say to all your constituents, look, I am new, I am here, I am moving forward. Everything that's happened has happened in the past, if anything at all has happened. But the audit will allow you to be able to say, this is my starting date, and this is where I am, and this is what went down, and it has nothing to do with me. And basically, you need it in order to make the citizens of this city feel comfortable that this city is moving forward, and it is moving forward in the right direction. The other thing I want to make a statement of is tab F. I don't have a slightest idea of what the amendments are going to be as to alcoholic beverages. The only thing that I can assume is that there is a 20,000 square foot strip club that is asking you to change the hours for alcoholic beverages. I don't know what it is, but don't change it. Our hours are what they are, and if they don't make a couple of extra bucks between the hours of 2 to 6 in the morning, so be it. Thank you.
Citizens Forum still open.
Jean Marcellus, 165 Northeast 140th Street. And like the last caller just said, the city is moving forward. We are a city, and we have a system. The city is not dependent on anyone. And the elected officials come and go. but the city is remain city of North Miami. It's very sad, and I was there as a former councilman when the only thing that we keep saying, we keep hearing, the city is a co-op city. The city is a co-op city, and I was there, and myself, while I serve as a councilman, I know the city that I serve is not a co-op city, and I'm proud to be here and to say, guys, we have a system. This is the reason. When someone is left, the city still remain in place. And this is the reason right now the city is moving forward. And please, let's put this thing aside about the city. It seems like the council, they accuse the council for something. If you do not vote for it, it seems like you're guilty or you look guilty. What? Listen, guys, it's up to you. If you believe you are guilty of anything, please do so. If you don't believe you're not guilty of anything, you do the right thing. You do the right, make the right decisions for the city. And I believe right now the city is really moving forward, regardless what's up to the mayor. But we have an acting mayor, and we have the council in place, and we have the city manager, we have the city attorney. The city is moving forward, ladies and gentlemen. Let's not make this thing a chaos and in the city, like we all are guilty of something. And the city is a co-op city. Ladies and gentlemen, I was served there, and I'm still here, and I probably will serve again. And in the city of North Miami, it's not a co-op city, and I will be glad to serve again. Thank you very much.
Go you first. No. You.
Again. Hi, my name is Paula. I'm living here in North Miami for 12 years, no, almost 13 years. I live at 2201 Northeast 122nd Street. I'm just concerned, and I can speak on behalf of many homeowners of 122nd Street. The pier is not necessary at all. We don't want the problem we had in the past, like back 10 years ago, that when we had, and I was the one that I was called the police so many times. They never show up when they had these really strange people using. And this morning I saw needles when I was walking with my dog. So why do we need a dog park for the dogs? And I was thinking it was the city financial problems. Why spend a lot of money in this new unnecessary pier? And I think in new construction, that's the good way to wash money if we don't have money. So that's one way. So that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Citizens Forum, still open.
I'm Nancy Williams. I live on 135th Street, Northeast. And I don't understand all this concern about doing an audit. In my opinion, an audit should be done by all large business corporations and cities on a regular basis. No blame intended, just do it.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Philip Brutus. I'm a former state rep. I'm an attorney. 1125 Northeast 125th Street. Have a little sore throat. I think it's always good to do audits. You audit your business. The IRS audit you. I think it's normal. It's required. In fact, I should make it a yearly requirement if I were you. But we have to...
It's a yearly requirement.
To make it every year.
We have an audit every
I would like to... I would
one.
suggest that you pass an ordinance that says every year.
We did, every
okay.
year, right?
All right. Well, if you don't, then, I'm just suggesting that asking for an audit is not what the problem is. The problem is if there's evidence or some suggestion that some officials in years past had done something wrong, that ought to be investigated as well. Because I understand there's been a lot of bad press for North Miami. I'll be the first to say. And you've never seen me come here. I represented North Miami and Tallahassee for 6 years. You've never seen me sit here, cause any trouble for anybody. I stay away from North Miami because there was a time the perception was there. And I'm glad there's a change in the leadership and the perception is abating a little. But the premise to say, let's do an audit limited to 2 or 3 or 4 years is incorrect. If you want to know the truth, you got to go deep. You got to go as deep as you can. And if anybody's guilty of anything, whether it be my friend, my brother, my sister, if they have to be arrested, arrest them. But don't say, let's do it for this, and stop there, because our friend 5, 10, 8, 9 years ago may be implicated. Therefore, let's not do it because we may be uncovered as being part of the corruption that started from a grain to a tree. So yes, do a forensics audit. Yes, do it. But do it in a wider span, because we don't want to just start the last few years, and we know allegations have been made. I heard of Bell House. I don't know what Bell House is, but somebody told me there were some improprieties there. If there were, that ought to be in that forensics accounting. If there were not, then no problem. That's all I need to say. Thank you very much.
Citizens Forum still open.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and council members. Citizens Forum is usually not necessarily for the items that are on the agenda to begin with, but since a lot of people who have to leave.
Anything related to the city's business.
Okay. A lot of people who have to leave to work in the morning are speaking on issues now. I want to thank Councilman Galvin and Councilwoman Keys for suggesting this. I concur with former Representative Mr. Brutus. I think that at the very least, we should go back to 2005 for a forensic audit of every single department. Not to accuse anybody of doing anything wrong, but you have a new manager that has to balance a budget, yet probably could not tell you today how much money he has in different accounts or how many accounts there is. You know, we have that neighborhood slush fund that anybody who gets a contract from the city, at the end of the contract, they say, oh, by the way, you got to give us 5% for our neighborhood contribution. And who regulates that money? You all certainly don't vote on that money. Do you know that account exists? So the forensic audit, say go back to 2005, is a great item. As we know, the CRA gets audited by the county, and we know that the CRA is under an audit as we speak. So that's a start. And I would definitely agree with individuals who want to make sure that everything with the Bell House is on the up and up. Definitely go very deep into that, because it's concerning, Mr. Manager, that an employee would attack the reputation of sitting council people that served with me. That's you, Mr. Galvin. That's you, Mr. Rill. Because as you all know, when other members sat up there on the council, most of all those votes having to do with the CRA, 9 times out of 10 were a 5-0 vote for anything that happened within the CRA. So let's, if you can, audit the CRA back to the beginning, which was only 2005. The reason you want to ask for the state audit, and I'm going to finish it up, is because the state forensic audit is much cheaper to the city. They do a very thorough job because they do it throughout the whole state. And if they discover mismanagement, they give you direction on how to correct it. And if there was a criminal activity, which nobody's implying, at least I'm not implying here, it helps you correct it and move the city forward.
But the biggest reason to do the forensic audit is to know where the manager stands, how much money you have, what's really there. Last week, 2 weeks ago, you all had a budget presentation and got 5 different dollar amounts that you were supposedly on hand. Oh, well, this money's committed, this $1 million committed, so it's really taken away from here. And then you got handed a piece of paper in the middle of the meeting with numbers that you all hadn't even had a chance to look at. But again, the audit is good business, it's good practice. I definitely am not accusing anybody of anything. Well, you need to know where you've been so the manager knows where he can go. We're trying to reactivate the CRA. It's great to do a full audit on the forensic audit on the CRA so that when you go to the county, you can say, we spent our money correctly, not these cursory audits. So let's move forward so that when Mr. Manager, one of your city employee accuses sitting council people and former elected officials of doing something wrong, which is totally uncalled for as a city employee, not as residents, that they back it up. So let's continue these audits. And I'm sorry that the sitting council members are being accused of such things that are not necessarily true. Hopefully you vote for this and the city moves forward, and it's a very simple item to do. Thank you very much.
Good evening. My name is Tamara Robinette, and I live in Keystone Bay Condominiums, 2640 Northeast 135th Street. Thank you, Mr. Mayor and City Council members and everyone here for allowing us the opportunity to speak on this very important subject. I work for a nonprofit organization. We have an audit every year. And interestingly enough, I read the audit every year. I learn a lot of very cogent and useful things when I read my audit report. I'm the executive director of the nonprofit, so I obviously have a lot of information, have access to figures and things, and yet I learn a lot when I read our audited financial statements and the narrative that the auditors put together for our board. That being said, obviously, I am in favor of the forensic audit. I have spoken informally with at least a dozen of my neighbors at Keystone Bay, and they have all told me they agree also with the forensic audit. It's a condominium, there are 90 units. With all due respect to everyone here, you know, we do live in America and everybody is innocent until proven guilty. I don't believe that there's anybody here present that has done anything improper, certainly not consciously. But I also do think, since we are all human, we are subject to mistakes, sometimes poor judgment, sometimes very bad negative actions, and we have all been living under a very dark cloud for many years. I've been living here for 12 years now in North Miami. And the past, at least 5 years, have been very negative and difficult. And so I believe that for transparency, also for you all's, you know, future activities in helping to manage and run our city, I think it would be very useful, instructive, educational, and at the same time will open the doors so everyone can really know what's been going on in our city. And I back several of the people who have asked for this audit to be large, deep, all-encompassing, because there are too many notions of impropriety in our city. And rumor spreads faster than fact. That we all know. So if we can bring some facts to the table through a forensic audit, then hopefully we can kill all these nasty rumors about North Miami and truly enjoy a great city and move forward and have it grow. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. Louise Poe, 12913 Exora Circle. I've been in Keystone since 1985. And on a happier note, I want to thank the council and the city for all the help that they gave to me when I was redoing Exora Circle recently. And we had a very nice block party, and I was just trying to clean up the area and make it more attractive. We have a lot of citizens that come, residents that come from outside of Keystone to walk there because it's such a nice big, it looks like a park. It's really a very nice area. And I did get help from the city, and I appreciate it very much. Everybody was very, very nice about it. The only thing I could ask is that I don't believe that the maintenance in the city really does the maintenance that they're supposed to, and I believe they get paid for it. They did mow right before our block party on May 16th, and I do not believe they've been there since. It's very overgrown, and the weeds are coming back. I've got foot-high weeds in the mulch areas, so I just don't like the taxpayers to pay for something we're not getting, so I think that should be looked into. And on the other note, I do believe we should have an audit. So thank you very much for your help on Exora Circle.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Cynthia Klutz. I live at 12665 Northeast 16th Avenue. And I had gone to my bank, the Chase. Above the bank, Gene Monestein's office was, so I went up there and I told him we should have art shows in North Miami, that I shouldn't have to lug all of my artwork to Miami Beach. And so the day that I came to the meeting here, the mayor, the woman that was arrested, she said, oh, we know about it and we're going to have it, and to speak to this fellow after the meeting, which I did. And so we had it on Friday, a couple Fridays back. Everybody was happy to have it. A lot of people came to me and said that they wish they knew they would sell their things, and that's an honest way of making money. When I had called the city, there was nowhere I could sell my hats. I used to go under the tree to work on it. Code enforcement would threaten me with the police that I'm having a garage sale, which I was not. Therefore, I was so happy to have a legitimate art show. But I just spoke tonight to the fellow in charge, and he said the next one is in December. Yet everybody I spoke to would like it more regular. And so I was the one that made the proposal to the city to have them to begin with. And now I would like to suggest more often. The musicians said more people came. All of the antique shops went there because they were empty. Now one of them said we're moving out because there's no traffic, no money coming in. Yet if more tourists came to buy art, it all ties in. And so that's why I wanted it. And I want to say one more thing about the audit and the corruption. My brother lives in San Francisco, where he said he's ashamed to admit he's from Miami. And the reason is 2020 had a show about they robbed trucks on South America and they shipped the merchandise to Dollar Tree. They're all over Miami. And I would not say North Miami is more corrupt than any part of South Florida. Therefore, I don't know about this mayor. I know one thing, you're not guilty until proven, and the way she was outed, it really upset me. She's the only one nice to me enough to have the art show, and everybody else that I said, oh, they won't do it, they won't listen to you. But she did. And there was a man came with the library plans, and she canceled it because there was more money to use. Oh, I want a bigger library. We don't need to redo it. And you know what? I met a woman on the bus stop in front of my building. Guess what she said? We want that mayor out. I said, what for? I don't tell her my business. She told me. We were trying to get her out. So therefore, I heard tonight she did something way back about private business. Why did they kick her out of the office? And who did that? I heard it was someone in Tallahassee, the governor. That's not fair. You're not guilty till you're proven guilty.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's what America stands for, I think.
Thank you, ma'am. Citizens Forum still open. Yes.
Good evening, Mayor, Council members. My name is Jessica Alston. I live 1140 Northwest 125th Street in Sunkist Grove. First, I want to say that I am proud today to be a North Miami resident. I am proud because I see that we are coming to the table all together to put some input into our city, into our government. And I want to encourage all of us to continue to do that. And if we continue to all put input into our city, into our government, and vote, we will have a better city, by definition. I encourage the council to vote to have a forensic audit of our city's finances. It is surprising to me how we could go from being the most solvent city in the state of Florida to being an insolvent city today. And there must be questions that must be answered as to explain how that happened. Thank you.
Jacques Despinos, 95 Northeast 131 Street, North Miami. Good afternoon. Still afternoon, because it's only a little bit. I don't come here tonight to say anything, just to listen, to congratulate the new manager, congratulate the new chief police, and the member of the body. Your guy, so far, in my watch, did a good job. We start good.
Thank you.
I served the city for 8 years with Joseph Liston, Kevin Byrne, and Scott Garvin, Marie Erland. That's your name? I guess so. That's her name. And now you have a brand new start. A new manager. You get two new members. Even one of them alleviated to acting mayor. That's the proper name and the charter. There's nothing wrong with that. But it is hard for me to sit and not say anything when all the former councilmen, former mayors, so they were there, and myself sitting here, I said, I got to say something. And I must say something. What I must say is clear and simple. The people who make the city, who pay for the city, is the taxpayer. They come before you and ask you to have an audit. We all innocent in this country until proven guilty. We don't have nothing to hide. The council, mayor doesn't hold the checkbook. We don't sign check. We don't do anything. So as far as I'm concerned, I might be wrong, you guys have nothing to fear of an audit. That's what they want. Go deep as you can, give them an audit. That will set you free. It's nothing to hide. Otherwise, they will keep on going every Tuesday when we have meeting with the same item. Your blood pressure will go high and high and high for no reason. For no reason. It's nothing to hide. That's what they want. That's their money. That's the city. Give them one. Thank you.
Good evening, Council. My name is Roger Rodriguez. I live at 12465 Keystone Island Drive. And I just want to agree with the majority of the people that have spoken here today to ask you to audit the city. Speaking as a businessman, I cannot see how you cannot start by doing that now, especially with the new people that you have brought in. I know if I was in that position, I would definitely want to know where I'm at so that I can go forward in the best way. Without that information, I do not understand, or I would not feel comfortable in tracking the future of the city. We, the citizens, entrust you with running the city business. I hope you do the right thing. Thank you.
Citizens Forum still open.
Good evening, Beverly Hilton, 12495 Northwest 6th Avenue. Think of this as your business, and our city manager just started. You want to start with a clean slate. Our mayor also want to start with a clean slate. We are the citizen. We are paying the taxes. We're asking for a forensic audit, and I don't see any council would be against it. So I'm in support of the audit, and just get it out of the way, and so we can move on. Thank you.
Hans Mardi, 12322 Northeast 6th Avenue. I'm here to say one thing. I heard a lot about the audit tonight. I strongly believe the city need an audit, but at the same time, is it the proper time when we do not have an elected mayor sitting here? We have an acting mayor. And I strongly believe none of those people in this sit down in the city council do not receive the entire city vote. Each of you getting elected by your specific district. The priority of the city today should be complete the city council, and under the new mayor, we will request an audit, and I think it will be fair for the citizen. Thank you.
Citizens Forum, still open.
Good evening. My name is Jesus Ramon. I live in 12785 Cypress Road. I have a slightly different thank you, and that is that through all these accusations tonight is the first item I've seen actually this city united. People from every district, race, color, creed, are speaking with one voice. We've heard a lot of discussion about unity, about moving forward. Here's your opportunity. All your constituents are here. The vast majority have spoken and with one voice, and I hope that you will make the right decision. Thank you.
Citizens Forum, still open. Citizens Forum, still open. Citizens Forum is now closed. Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda, please?
So move.
Second. Anyone wish to record a no on the consent agenda?
Consent
City
agenda
Clerk.
passes 4-0. Tab C. Proposed resolution of the Vice Mayor as acting mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, supporting the Tri-Rail Coastal Link TRCL commuter rail service and a commitment to only study a means for providing the local share of funding for capital and operating costs, providing for an effective date and for all other purposes.
Citizens Forum is open on tab C. Citizens Forum is open on tab C. Sorry,
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, Kenneth Beach, 776 Northeast 125th Street. The Tri-Rail commuter rail service, I think, would be a good thing for the city of North Miami. I'm on your planning commission. I've been to several meetings of your downtown redevelopment. I'm also a member of the CRA advisory. I lived in this city since 1970 when I went on the police department. The gateway to our city is 125th Street by the railroad tracks over there. And if you look at it today, it's an absolute disgrace. You have gas stations, auto repair places, and it just depicts a horrible, horrible image for the city. We have discussed Tri-Rail, and at our CRA advisory with Frank Schnidman, we talked about a commuter rail station there, something of beauty, something that would bring people into the city. And you know, many, many years ago, we used to have a railroad station in North Miami on Arch Creek Road by Northeast 16th Avenue. It was a passenger station, and people used to disembark and come to our city. And they used to spend their winters here during the season. We can do the same thing. You know, a little bit of vision, a little bit of thinking outside the box. You know, I go down 125th Street, I want to cry. You know, like I said, I've been here for 40 years, and I mentioned this before. When I was on the police department, we used to have an expression that this was the city that time forgot. Well, you know what? Like the Council of Trent, you have to look through your telescope, and you have to see what you have. And we can be negative, and we can tell Galileo, I don't want to look because I don't want to believe. Well, you can actually see the facts out there. This is something that would be good for this city along with the downtown redevelopment. This is something that would get rid of that blight over there and really, really, really increase the visual beauty of the city. Thank you very much.
William
Public
Prevotel.
hearing still open on tab C.
William Prevotel, 11950 North Bay Shore Drive. I'll try to be brief. I support everything that Commissioner Each said. And essentially, though, this is really just a study to see the effects of this item. I think there's a great deal of upside to it. I think there's very little downside to having a study to review the situation. And I encourage you to support whatever we can, whatever investigation we can make to see what opportunity this might bring. Thank you.
Public hearing still open on tab C. Public hearing still open on tab C. Public hearing is now closed. Is there a motion on tab C?
Sure. I'd like to make the motion to approve. I'm very happy to see that staff worked with the FEC folks to remove any language that suggests we're going to fund this in the future. So with that new addition, I'm glad to sponsor its approval.
Second.
For discussion, or any discussion about it? No?
Very excited to have this in our city.
Still, tab C. Anyone wish to record a no on tab C?
Tab C passes 4-0. Tab D, proposed resolution of the Vice Mayor as acting mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, approving the execution of an employment agreement with the city manager, providing for an effective date and for all other purposes.
Public hearing is open on tab G. Mr. City Manager, can you give us some explanation about tab G, since it's your item?
It's an agreement that I worked on the direction of the council with the city attorney on a contract.
It's your contract?
Correct.
You should be sponsored by the city attorney. Come, that's you negotiate the contract. We request that you negotiate the contract. You should be the sponsor.
Mr. Mayor, if it's appropriate, I'll make the motion to approve it. I'm glad to see that. I'm sorry, everybody, my voice is weak tonight. I'm glad to see that you've negotiated something that's actually a savings to the city over the previous manager's contract. Though the salary is still in the same range, your benefits are actually going to be reduced. So I thank you for negotiating something with the attorney that looks to be a savings.
Public hearing is open on tab D. Public hearing is open on tab D. Public hearing is open on tab D.
Do we have a copy of the contract? Is there a copy?
It's online.
It's online with the packet. Yeah.
And the one that I had originally seen, I think it was a one-year contract. Is it now no term limit on the contract?
It's a 3-year contract.
Oh, okay. And so everybody's happy with that? Because I looked at the previous two, Karen Mills Francis, and I was here earlier, you know my deal. The previous two city managers, there was no time frame for the contract. It was an open-ended contract, which made sense to me because under your code, the council appoints you and the council can fire you. So I didn't understand why there was any limitation at all. Why is it a 1-year contract? Why is it a 3-year? Why isn't it just open because you serve at the will of the council?
That's a concern. Is it a question?
Yeah, it's a question.
City Attorney,
Why does his particular contract, because I went back and looked through the last
City Attorney,
three.
can you answer that question, please?
The city manager had indicated that he would like a 3-year contract, and it's not against the state statute or against the charter, so we included it into the agreement.
So it was an agreed upon.
Well, no, the council agrees, so it's presented to council for their consideration, and they can make any adjustment or modification that they deem appropriate.
Does the city manager agree?
He made the request.
Well-
Oh, I'm sorry, I don't mean to address.
There's also an option to renew or continue, a 1-year option as well in the contract.
Okay, all right. That's it then.
Public hearing still open on tab D.
Annie Montgomery, 2082 Laurel Lane. I would recommend you sign this contract in a hurry before he leaves. Get it done. Thank you.
Kenneth Each, 776 125th Street. I was been in government over 40 years, and I had the pleasure of meeting Mr. Ghani when I came back from Chicago after my tenure up there in the Chicagoland area as chief of police. Mr. Ghani is probably one of the most efficient, dedicated public servants I have ever met in my years in public service, and it would be a pleasure and an honor for me to serve under him. As a citizen that's lived in the city since 1970, I really, truly recommend that you all sign this contract. He's an honorable man, a man of his word, and I think he'd bring great credit to the city. Thank you.
China Lucian, 12880 Griffin. Can I direct this question directly to the city manager?
Yes, that's fine.
My question is, are you requesting a 3-year contract, or did you request a 3-year contract? Because originally, the offer was a 1-year contract.
No, when we vote on it, we ask the city attorney to sit down with him and negotiate a contract and bring it back to us for approval. That's when we're going to decide
City
after
Manager
they
Ghani.
negotiate.
The terms are going to be negotiated.
But my question is, are you asking for a 3-year contract because you were originally offered a 1-year, or do you not want a 3-year contract at all, and it should be what it was with City Manager Johnson?
The term limit has to be agreed upon. I would prefer it not to be a term limit.
That's my question. So I don't understand why, if the previous city manager didn't have this contract where there was a 1-year, 2-year, or 3-year limit, why are we now imposing that upon the new city manager? If it is that the council appoints this person and then can fire this person at any time, why aren't we just doing what we were doing before? I don't understand why now we're putting in this time limit. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Did we at a time frame, a time limit on the previous one?
No.
City attorney?
We did not.
No. So,
Okay,
Aleem,
thank you.
why did you negotiate in a term limit?
The original contract presented to me was 1 year, and I made the change for a 36-month period. The term limit, we can remove it as part of the amended contract.
Okay.
Thank you. Public hearing is still open on tab D.
Douglas Hindmarsh. May it please the Mayor Council. I live in Keystone. My address is protected. I've known Aleem Galani probably as long as Kenny Each has known him. I've seen him come up through the ranks. He knows the city, he knows the valves, he knows the streets, he knows the garbage trucks and the employees. If he needs a 3-year contract to get a warm, fuzzy feeling so he can stop like the hungry artist who can't paint, worrying about his contract, and he's running for Congress every 2 years, like a congressman versus make him a senator. Give him a 3-year contract. You can still fire him for cause at any time. You get ready. You hire the city attorney. You hire the city manager. He does the rest. Give him his 3-year contract. Thank you.
Public hearing still open on tab D. Public hearing still open on tab D. Public hearing is now closed. Is there a motion?
Sure.
on the table?
I'll make the motion that we approve the contract as presented without the 3-year time limit, that you just leave it open-ended.
I'd second that motion for discussion. I have one question.
Move for discussion. Go ahead.
The severance, I know that the former manager had a 12-month severance option in his contract, but isn't that 12-month in contradiction to the state law?
If you read the entire severance section, for the record, I will read it into, it's entitled severance. In the event the council terminates the services of the city manager without cause and within the first 36 months from the effective date of the agreement, then the city manager shall be entitled to 12 months of his then current salary unless otherwise provided for in section 215.425 Florida statutes as amended. And that's the reference that you're making. So if the Florida statutes prohibits a 12-month payout, then it would be prohibited.
Okay. Thank you.
Councilwoman Scott?
No,
Just
no.
the motion.
Yeah.
Councilwoman Still.
I do have a question regarding the termination. That says, when I read the whole paragraph, I think the second line said maybe remove him by a majority of vote of its members at least 90 days before such removal shall become effective. So, and then that goes down. It's sad to see that we have a contract, we're discussing it before the people, but they don't have the contract. They have no idea what we're talking about.
It's online.
So, but I hope that everybody's, we're online before and read it. But the termination part of it that I'm not understanding really. Is it that's what we had before, or is that's new? Because I don't remember that I have never read a contract like that before.
No, this provision was not in the previous contract.
So what does that
city
mean?
manager.
What does it mean?
So it means that, I'll read the whole thing into the record. In accordance, under termination, in accordance section 18, with section 18, the city council shall appoint the city manager and may remove him by majority vote of its members. At least 90 days before such removal shall become effective, the council shall by a majority vote of its members adopt a preliminary resolution stating the reasons for his removal. The city manager may reply in writing and may request a public hearing, which shall be held not earlier than 20 days or not later than 30 days after the filing of such request. After such public hearing, if one be requested and after full consideration, the council by majority vote of its members may adopt a final resolution of removal. So what it does is require several steps to be taken for removing the city manager. And the first step is a 90-day, essentially notice period that the council will make by preliminary reasons stating the reasons for the removal.
So this language is identical to a resolution that was passed for Steve Johnson.
That's what I just asked Regine, but she said no.
The 90 days portion is not was not in there.
But you passed a resolution on, after the former manager's contract was signed.
I'm
And
sorry,
it was-
after?
I'm looking at a resolution online. You entered into a contract, and then afterwards, you entered into a resolution, and that same language in the event city council terminates within 36 months, unless provided for in section 215-425.
No, but that's not the same section that
But
I just read.
that wasn't part of the original contract, but the council passed a resolution after the fact, putting that language.
You
That's
talking
the-
about 215.45, or you talking about 90-day notice?
The severance clause you have is the same severance clause that was passed by the council in a resolution.
But you read
Talking
something, you read something different,
I-
though.
We're talking about
paraphrased
termination.
it.
She's referring to.
Yeah, well, I think we're
Council.
talking about two different things.
Councilwoman, I'm talking about the termination process.
Okay, not the severance.
No.
No,
Okay.
I'm not even there yet. My only concern that is not so much with Alim is the same thing that we create a pattern with Stephen, starting him with a very high paid salary. We cannot afford to have someone that's as qualified as he is and then give him a less amount that he deserves, which I totally agree, and I'm not going to discuss his money, especially on the dais. But I don't want to create a precedent as well in terms of the termination. So if we start that now, that's mean in 3 years and 10 years, if we have a city manager, it's going to be almost impossible to do anything. And even in the termination process, if the city manager is at fault or not, we still cannot fire him if we want to. So that's the only part that I have problem with. So what did we have before then? The termination process. What was the process before?
It's always at will. I
Give
mean,
me a second.
That's what I don't remember, but
there-
I didn't remember that it was the process of 90 days and another 30 days or another 20 days.
Yeah, the 90 days
I think
was
that
not
we just
there, but
This is it. That's his last. 2 contracts.
okay. I will read into the record the employment agreement of Mr. Stephen Johnson.
the termination.
The termination provision.
Okay.
Nothing in this agreement shall prevent, limit, or otherwise interfere with the absolute right of the council to terminate the services of the city manager at any time with or without cause, in accordance with Section 11 of the city charter. A vote of no confidence by the council may be considered as a termination under this agreement. Nonetheless, the city manager has agreed in accordance with the International City and County Management Association, ICMA Code of Ethics, to devote a minimum of 2 years to the city of North Miami unless there are special circumstances where it may be in the best interest of the council and the city manager to end the relationship in a shorter time. In the event the city manager voluntarily resigns, then he shall give the council at least 30 days written notice in advance unless the parties agree to waive such notice requirement.
So you guys think it's the same thing that we have here? Okay, so I wouldn't mind if you guys willing to make that amendment to go with the city charter instead of
Why
going
don't we-
through a long process. This is exactly what Regine just read.
Why don't we use, for the removal, why don't we use Article 4, Section 18 of the Charter for determination, and we'll
Correct.
be okay with that.
This is it, it's fine.
Okay, I can make that amendment.
Okay?
Okay, that's all I have to.
A friendly amendment on determination to use Article 4, Section 18 of the Charter.
Or, yes, and the code.
You agree?
Yeah, I agree.
I'll
Okay.
accept that friendly amendment, certainly.
Can we have a...
To second that?
Yeah, it was motion and second. I'm trying to get a copy of the contract and make the changes, but what I'll do, I'll just say it was.
Yeah, you can, the only thing that we change is the term. There is no
And
term.
the term, is it a 1-year term or there's
No
no term
term,
at all?
no term.
term at all.
You have a contract.
Okay.
But I
Okay.
don't understand what's the purpose of having a term, a contract for 3 years when.
I think
it's
a term
not-
is better for. I think a
Yeah,
term is
so-
better.
Why? What's
Then
better about it?
So
A
if,
term
you
would-
mess
I would
up-
prefer a
if
term
you mess
contract.
Up next week, we'll fire you.
Yeah.
With the term or without the term?
Without the term.
I thought you guys here for Aline.
But that's what I'm saying. But how do you get severance if you don't have a term?
It's better to have a term
It's better to
contract.
have a term contract.
It's better to have a term contract.
Why are you talking to?
Okay. And City Clerk, can you explain us exactly what we're going to be voting on?
Okay, apparently we have a motion made by Councilman Galvin. The motion was seconded by Councilwoman Keys, and this is to approve this particular agreement with an amendment. Apparently, we're going to replace the termination clause, which is subparagraph 4, and that clause will be replaced with section 4. Thank you so much, sir.
Article 4.
Article 4, section 18 of the charter. And
Yes.
so what that's what it does. So apparently, that's the motion that was made, and it was
Exactly.
seconded.
Yes. Can you call a vote? Yes.
Okay, oh, absolutely. Okay. So the motion was made by Councilman Galvin. It was seconded by Councilwoman Keys. Just for the record, did I get the amendment correct to the motion maker?
The good gentleman, Councilman Despinos, was distracting me when you were reading it into the record, but if you said that it would be a contract without a specific term limit, and that the friendly amendment offered by Councilwoman Sterile about his severance would
No,
be
not
included?
the severance, the termination.
Termination, I'm sorry. That would be included, then yes, that was.
So you want me to say that on the record? I'm sorry, I'm going to say that on the record.
Okay. That's what it is.
Okay, so you want me to repeat it, Mayor, or?
No, a vote.
Okay.
Welcome.
Councilman.
Give me a second. It's like you're still thinking. You want to renegotiate another? Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Councilman Galvin.
Yes.
Councilwoman Keys.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sterile.
Yes.
Mayor Bieneme.
Yes.
Item passes 4-0 with amendments.
Congratulations, Ali.
City Clerk.
All those empty nights, you deserve it.
Where you are?
Don't anybody rush home to see the Heat game, by the way.
I know, right?
The Heat didn't show up tonight, just in case you're wondering.
What's the number?
They're losing by 20 at the half.
Really?
Proposed by Tab E. Just for the record, Tab D passes 4-0. Tab E. Proposed ordinance of the Vice Mayor's acting mayor and the City of North Miami of the city and the mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, calling for a special election for the office of the mayor of North Miami due to the suspension of Mayor Lucy Dundro by Governor Rick Scott, to be held on August 26, 2014, with any necessary runoff election to be held on November 4th, 2014, as provided by state law, the Charter of the City of North Miami, and the North Miami Code of Ordinances describing persons qualified to vote in said election, providing for qualifying dates, providing for the provision of and closing of registration books, designating hours and places for voting, directing the city clerk to give notice of this ordinance, adoption, and transmit a certified copy to the Miami-Dade County Supervisor of Elections, providing for conflicts, severability, and for an effective date.
Public hearing, it's open on tab E.